Alright, so we're back with another 9th edition battle report. It's going to be my Necrons versus a vehicle-heavy Death Guard army. There's a ton of armor over here, so we're going to see how well I can try and punch through all that armor. But my list is the same I played in my last video. It is a Scorpic Lord, a Cryptic, 10 Immortals with Tesla, 20 Gauss Flayer Warriors, 20 Gauss Reaper Warriors. These guys got stuck in combat in the last video and really didn't get to do anything, so hopefully they get to shoot this time. That 14-inch range is really killer on them, but we'll try and make them work for a couple more times at least. And they're silver, not gray anymore, so that's an upgrade. Over here we have 5 Scarabs, 5 more Scarabs, 5 Destroyers, a Doomsday Barge, that's Doomsday Ark, Annihilation Barge, and then 2 Night Scythes. So that's my whole list. And then the Death Guard around the corner here, you're going to walk me through this, Dan. So we have 5 Plague Marines. Yep. We have 5 more Plague Marines. What are the big bloat drones? We have 3 bloat drones. And the little bug guys are
Blight Haulers.
Blight Haulers with multi-meltas, all of them. 1, 2, and 3. 2 Plague Burst Crawlers. 5 Terminators. And then 2 Rhinos for the Plague Marines. There are 2 characters are Lords.
Yes.
So 2 Lords on foot, and then finally 3 units of 3 Nurglings?
Yeah. 3
units of 3 Nurglings. So that is the Death Guard army. Tons of vehicles, a lot of close range shooting. These 2 have flamers on them. So we'll see how this goes. We're playing the Vital Intelligence mission. I have taken Bring It Down, Engage on All Fronts, and the mission specific secondary Data Intercept. And then the Death Guard over here, they have bought Bring It Down, Raise the Banners, and Engage on All Fronts. So that's where we're at. We have the board set up. We'll be back and see how deployment goes. Alright, so we're back after deployment, and so we're in Vital Intelligence mission. We played table quarter, sort of, the angular deployment. So I got this corner over here. I have the 2 Night Scythes in the back. 20 Warriors in the woods with a Cryptic right there behind them. Of course, the Scorpic Lord here. My 2 squads of Scarabs there. There are 10 Immortals under the building. There is 2 Annihilation Barges and my Doomsday Ark. In reserves, I have 5 Destroyers. I have the Nephric Dynasty, so I use their special stratagem to put them in reserve. And then I also have the other 20-man Warrior Squad in one of the Night Scythes. The Death Guard only have the Terminators in reserve. They're deep striking. And the rest of their army is over here. They have a big unit of, what are your little bugs called?
Nurglings.
No, these.
Oh, Blight Haulers.
Blight Haulers. 3 Blight Haulers there. I skipped right over the Nurglings. Nurglings infiltrate on an objective. There is a Lord hiding behind them.
Yeah.
There's the Spitter thing.
Bloat Drone.
Bloat Drone. I'm going to get all these names right by the end of the video. So we have a Bloat Drone there. We have a Rhino full of Plague Marines. Another Bloat Drone. Plague Burst Crawler. Chaos Lord. Plague Burst Crawler. Bloat Drone. And finally another Rhino full of Plague Marines. And so the objectives are down the middle in the mission. So we have 1 there, 1 there, 1 behind the building here with more Nurglings on it, and then 1 over there with more Nurglings on it. And then of course we both get 1 in our deployment zone. So it's a 6 objective mission, and we will roll real quick. You want to grab a dice, Dan? We'll see who gets first turn. I rolled a 3. 3 to a 3. Ooh, the old roll off. I rolled a 1. The big old 1 to a 4. So Death Guard will get first turn if they so choose. I'm assuming you're taking first turn. Yep. So we're back with Death Guard, turn 1. Alright, so we're back at the end of Death Guard, turn 1. They moved up and are very much in control of the middle of the table. They have 5 objectives currently. There's Nurglings way over there. More Nurglings on this objective. So I'm really going to have to try and push them off objectives because I can't let them sit on 5 objectives the whole game. As far as damage goes, these Immortals in the building took some fire from the left-hand side over here. I lost 3 of their number, so we'll see if they can stand back up on our turn. And pretty much everything else went into shooting this Night Scythe. He has Bring Him Down as one of his secondaries. Knocked it down to 2 wounds left, but it did survive. So for turn 1, Death Guard pretty much just got some board control. They did score 2 points for their Engage on All Fronts, and they're holding a ton of objectives. So we're back on Necron turn 1. And see if I can push back a little bit without getting burnt to death by all the flamers over here. Alright, so we're back at the end of Necron turn 1. And after looking at the board for a while, I'm actually in a real tight spot here. This Death Guard army can seriously put some pressure on, so I wasn't quite sure how to take all these objectives back. So these Scarabs advanced, and I used the stratagem to charge them in, so they assaulted that bloat drone to deny them one objective there. I was able to kill one of these, blurry, one of these Nurglings back there, and then assault them with some Scarabs that moved up here. Other than that, I just shot some vehicles a bunch. I kind of tried to take some board control. Night Scythe went in the back, so I could potentially drop off troops over there. Other Night Scythe is wounded. He's regained 1 thanks to living metal, because he's down to 3 wounds. Just shot into some Nurglings. So I killed like 1 Nurgling there. I killed a single Nurgling there, and also killed a single Nurgling out of this squad. So all down to 2 mans left, but 4 wounds apiece. With a 5 up, 5 up, they're pretty hard to shift with little pinkly weapons shooting. So that's where we're at. Death Guard are going to take an early lead on the primary, so I'm going to have to try to do some damage to them and knock them off objectives so I can catch up at the end of the game. So we'll see how that works. It's going to be an uphill battle, but we haven't done too much damage to each other. We're just fighting for board control. So we'll be back on Death Guard turn 2 and see what they can do. Alright, so we're back at the end of Death Guard turn number 2, and they're taking off with an early points lead, but I do actually have a way to come back, hopefully, if things go my way. But what happened this turn, they controlled 3 objectives, but they did not control more objectives, so they got 10 points for that on their primary, and then they scored a bunch of points in the secondary. They killed 1 of my Night Scythes for their bring it down for 3 points. They're in all the table quarters because Terminators came in way over here. So you got 3 points for engage on all fronts, and then 1 point for raise the banners because those guys in the back raised the banner last turn. And then so what damage they did, they shot in and killed all of these Nurglings. Not Nurglings, sorry. Scarabs. He has Nurglings, I have Scarabs. So they shot and killed all these Scarabs. They shot and then assaulted and killed those Scarabs. And then of course they shot down my 3 wound plane. I used the stratagem for emergency invasion beams and deployed all my warriors out of it, so I'm actually taking that objective from those Nurglings in that corner. But that's what they did, and then of course the Terminators came in over here, shot and killed 5 warriors, so we're going to see if those warriors can stand back up. And that's turn 2 for the Death Guard, so they're at 19 points, so hopefully I can catch up some this turn. Alright, so the end of Necron turn 2, and it went about as good as it could have gone for me. The only thing that I failed to do was kill this little Blight Hauler down here. He's at 1 wound. But other than that, I moved up and took this objective. I know I'm going to die, but it prevents him from holding more objectives than me. And then I shot all this stuff, brought my destroyers in, shot in, and killed the Terminators in the back corner, so he's not going to get engaged in all fronts on all my table quarters, maybe. These warriors moved forward, shot these Plague Marines off the objective, and then assaulted into those Nurglings back there. Oh, and he shot and killed a Nurgling. There was one with 1 wound left. And there's a Nurgling left with 1 wound, so I have it surrounded over there. And other than that, I didn't do a whole lot. Repositioned some. It took most of my firepower to kill the Terminators, and then do a few wounds there. So I'm really struggling right now on Bring It Down. I need to kill these vehicles. I have that one down to a single wound left. That one's only got 5 wounds left. I did some wounds to the Rhino. So I need to start focusing them down, but trying to clear the objectives, it's kind of a balancing act. So we'll see where it goes. We'll be back with Plague Marine turn 3. Alright, so we're back at the end of Death Guard turn 3, and it was a pretty good turn for them, except for the fact I held them to 5 points on the primary. So I was able to maneuver around at the end of my turn to make it so that they only held 2 objectives, and in this mission they need to hold 3 to get the 10 points in the primary. So I held them to 5 there, but on secondaries they killed my other Night Scythe, which was 3 points for them, and they killed my Annihilation Barge, which was another 2 points for them. But then the real blow to my army came when I lost these Immortals. Like, he shot me a few times with a couple of things, like some mortars back there, and I just failed every single save he put on me. And the unit died. I should have had about 3 left or so because that guy advanced, and so he wouldn't be able to charge me. But I just rolled so bad they're gone, and that really removes all of my pressure from this objective. So that is just devastating to my plan. And then he also made a charge in here, which really hurts. And the Plague Burst Crawler charged those warriors over there. They're still all fine, but they're locked up now, so they can't shoot. They really wouldn't have had a good target to shoot with anyway, but it just it's a bad spot to be with the Necrons right now. So really, I have this little fire base back here to still shoot. My relic for the army is the Veil of Darkness, so I can try to teleport these somewhere on the board to score more points, so that's probably what's going to happen. But we'll be back with Necron turn 3 and see if we can come back from this. This was brutal over here. Alright, so we're back at the end of Necron turn 3, and it was a disaster for us. I shot into these two guys with pretty much everything I have because they're about to get ready to assault my lines, and I couldn't let that happen. But what I didn't realize is I've never fought these before, and I didn't know they had a 5-up invulnerable save. So I put my destroyers down here, my Doomsday Arc here. That one fired into this guy, and then these guys all fired into this guy. He passed over half of his invulnerable saves, and so did that one. So they're still both alive and aren't even profiled yet. So I'm about to get double assaulted and lose pretty much the only guns I have left in the game. So that's going to be bad. And also, because they survived, I committed too much firepower to them. I needed to kill this Rhino, but I really wanted to stop them from assaulting me, and it didn't happen. And that also meant that the Rhino survived. So I'm not controlling that objective. So at the start of Death Guard turn 4, they're about to score 15 points in the primary. I could have held them to 10 points by killing the Rhino. It was a tactical error. I wanted to kill these because I wanted to not get assaulted, but really I should have just gone for the smart play and shot the Rhino. But once I realized I didn't have an invulnerable save, I just kept shooting them, and I shouldn't have. That invulnerable is going to kill me. So I'm about to lose these things from shooting. They really won't do damage to me, the blow drones, but they're going to stop my guns from shooting. The loss of the fly keyword, I can't fall back and shoot anymore. So it's just going to be really hard from here on out. Over here, I knocked that guy down to 5 wounds in close combat. And that's it. I got 5 points in my primary this turn. I do have engaged in all fronts, but only in 3 table quarters. So I got 2 points from that and 2 points for data intercept. So we're falling behind, and this next turn is really about to be bad. So we'll be back with Death Guard turn 4 and see how far they can pull away. Alright, so we're back at the end of Death Guard turn 4. And the Necrons got a little bit of luck, but not a lot. So, of course, this Annihilation Barge got shot and killed. Over here, the Destroyers actually pulled off a miracle. He tried to charge me. I was defensible in terrain, so I overwatched, and with all the 5s, actually killed him on the overwatch. So the Destroyers are free next turn, which is a shining light of hope in an otherwise a very dark situation. Other than that, he assaulted in here, locked up the Doomsday Arc, so it won't be shooting next turn. And then he continues to make his 5-up saves versus my Scorpic Lord. I've put all sorts of wounds on him with my big giant sword that does flat 3 damage, and he's just been making his saves. So he's got 3 wounds left over there and still holding me in combat. And he scored 15 points in the primary this turn, plus 2 more points for taking down another vehicle, and also 3 points for holding all the table quarters. So it was a really point-heavy turn for the Death Guard, but I do have at least 1 unit that can shoot next turn. So we'll be back with Necron turn 4 and see if we can scrape out a few points at least. Alright, so back at the end of Necron turn 4, and it didn't go as good as it could have, but we did alright. This stayed in combat, shot in with its gauze flares, put 2 wounds on that guy. These guys stayed on the objective and did the data intercept action. Over here, my Scorpic Lord finally killed the Plague Burst Crawler. And then over here was the big news. My Cryptic and Destroyers used the Veil of Darkness. I shot a big split fire. 1 Destroyer went into the Nurglings. 1 went into the, what are your little guys called? Blight Haulers? Blight Haulers. 1 went into the Blight Haulers, or no, sorry, 2. 2 into the Blight Haulers, 2 into this Plague Drone. I killed one of the Blight Haulers. This guy still has 2 wounds left. But the whole idea was try and get points for killing vehicles, and then charge in, kill the Nurgling, and hold 3 objectives to stop him from getting 15 points on his turn. But I failed my charge. Of course, I used a reroll and everything, but it's a 9-inch charge. I don't get any bonuses to it. I did roll an 8, but just wasn't able to make the charge. That Nurgling has 1 wound left. And so there we go. I'm stuck not holding that objective, so he's getting 15 more points at the start of his turn. But I did get points for killing vehicles, and I should be able to scrape up a few good secondary points, but on the primary, I'm just getting shellacked this game. So we'll be back with Death Guard turn 5. Alright, so we're back at the end of Death Guard turn number 5. And the bad continues to pile up for the Necrons. The Blight Haulers moved up in through the crater, which is -2 movement, and then needed a long charge. So a bunch of stuff, of course, fired into the Destroyers. There's only a couple left. So they need a real long charge to make it. But then with a reroll, they rolled a 12. So I can't even shoot with my Destroyers this last turn to try and rack up some more points for killing vehicles. So that's bad, but the good news is they did survive. So I will at least hold this table quarter for engaging all fronts. Other than that, we're just fighting over here in combat and holding objectives. So they got another 15 points at the start of their turn, and they are definitely going to win the game, but we'll see how many secondaries I can score on my turn. Alright, so we're end of Necron turn number 5, and I mean, it really couldn't have gone good for us. It was all bad, but we did what we could. I moved up with this squad, tried a Hail Mary to shoot into that Blight drone. He only has 2 wounds left. He only put 1 wound on him and then he made a save. Then I shot into this guy and assaulted into him. He has 5 wounds left and didn't cause any. So it didn't happen for us on this game. It just didn't. We got 5 points in the primary this turn, 2 points for data intercept, and then 2 points for engage in all fronts because I am still alive over there in the corner. So that's where we're at. It was a total of, hold on one second, I go way over here. Across the shop. So this is our little score pad. It was 74 for the Death Guard and 48 for the Necrons. So we got totally dominated. They had almost as many primary points as I had points altogether. That being able to move up turn 1 and then just hold the entire center of the table was just too much to come back from. They are so resilient, it is hard to shift them. So we'll be back with another battle report later, but thanks for watching.